Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to another live news roundup here at Agenda Free TV and Agenda Free TV 2. If you're watching on YouTube, we have two news channels. So if you're watching on YouTube, it's Agenda Free TV 2 on YouTube. On the other platforms, it's Agenda Free TV. Thank you for joining us. We're going to talk about some of the top stories of the day and get your comments. We want to hear from you. You can write to me on Twitter. @Lookner on Twitter is where to reach me. So give me a shout. Let me know what your comments are on the stories. By the way, let's see. Has Facebook fixed their chat thing? I bet they haven't. We'll see. Facebook's having problems lately with their chat, where the comments don't come up live and you have to refresh your browser if you want to see the comments. It's been going on for several days. Thanks to our moderators, by the way. Over on Twitch, we got Papa Bear and Sully moderating. We have Mark Helton, Danny James, Rusty G, Lady Edith, Julian Phillips, Sarah 55, Melissa McQueen. They're all there moderating, so I really appreciate that. And thanks to our Twitter moderators as well. We often have Linda Belk moderating there on Twitter. Hang on a second here. Here we go. Yeah, it looks like Facebook chat is still, I have to keep literally refreshing. Literally have to refresh so I can see the chat messages. Would seem like an easy thing to fix. Anyways, and hello to our viewers, people like Jordan Miller, Debbie Smurthwaite, Budget Girl, Monty Cypress, Brennan Brumond, April Coco, and others. Marcus Bell. Jabranak and others. Okay, let's start by talking about let's talk about the Austin shooting and getting an update on that. It's this, this happened late last night, and basically, this is it. Kind of so. On the one hand, it's really bad, obviously, because a bunch of people got shot. On the other hand, this is not uncommon in the U.S. There were actually, I'm aware of 3 shootings yesterday. There was one in Chicago where 10 people got shot, one in Savannah, Georgia, where 9 people got shot, and one in Austin where I don't know if the number of people who've been released have got shot. Some of these people might have got non-shooting injuries. But, I don't know where, of these 3 incidents, I don't believe any of them have been reported to be like a random person starts firing bullets at people. I mean, so the Austin one, police say, is it looks like some sort of dispute or something involving a couple of people, and then most of the people who were injured were innocent bystanders. So, very unfortunate, but it's also unfortunate that these are not uncommon. So we'll talk about the 2 other ones I heard about yesterday too, the ones in Savannah and Chicago. But just an update on this one. Police said they were looking for 2 suspects, and they've caught one of them. So let me just show you. This is from Austin American Statesman. Well, first of all, let me show you this. Where's Tony Plohetsky? Tony Plohetsky says 1 suspect has been arrested in connection with a mass shooting in Austin overnight that injured 14 people. He also had said that there were, the police had said they were looking for 2 suspects. Here, right, where is this here? Yeah, Austin Police Chief confirms there are 2 male suspects. I feel like we are going to be successful getting them into custody. He adds that this appears to be an isolated incident between 2 parties. There are 14 victims total, 2 critical, the others are stable. Almost all of the victims are innocent bystanders. Joanne Gabrielle thinks this might be a gang initiation. I have no idea. Doesn't look. I mean, it doesn't look like it doesn't look like it's a gang initiation like you're saying, if it's an isolated incident between two parties. I mean, perhaps there was it's related to gangs, but the police are saying it appears to be an isolated incident between two parties. Now, this actually happened in, like, I believe, a busy area of downtown Austin. This was the where is it here? This was the most significant mass casualty incident emergency officials have responded to in Austin since 2014. And the scene began unfolding at the height of a typical weekend night on 6th Street, says the Austin American-Statesman. About 1:25 a.m., EMS responded. 400 block of East 6th Street. So let's just show you this. Oops, I didn't type that in right. There we go. 400 East 6th Street, Austin. So this is downtown Austin, and there's plenty of, like, bars and restaurants in this area. Here we go. East 6th Street, 400 East 6th. So somewhere here. So look, this is East 6th Street here. This is around 400 East 6th Street. So you have some bars, a lot of bars and clubs and stuff. It's a very, it's a busy social area. See? This is the area right here. In security video, officials saw, according to Austin American-Statesman, victims appeared to be enjoying themselves one moment, then dropped to the ground from injuries as shots rang out. When first responders arrived, they found people covered in blood and sprawled out on the street and sidewalk. Police told Austin, the American-Statesman, that the crowd in the city's entertainment district at the time was near the size of a pre-pandemic group, meaning potentially tens of thousands of people were gathered in the area anchored by 6th Street. And I'm not going to play this. This is some people, like, lying on the ground with injuries. Tony Plohetsky posted that. You can go look at that there. But we can actually probably tell, where is this building right here? I bet we can find this building, the white building. Let's see. Can we find it? 3 windows and 3 windows and then 2 windows. Right here. That's where it is. It's right in front of here. This is where it happened, in front of here. Well, this is where there's people lying on the ground. So that's, you can see, it's this area right here. This is a Moose Knuckle pub, it says. But that's it right there. What happened overnight instantly sparked renewed conversation not only about safety in Austin's most cherished entertainment district, but also about a steep rise in gun violence in the city overall. Police statistics show that gun crimes went from 689 in 2015 to 1054 in 2020. So anyways, the latest is that the police say this appears to be an isolated incident between two parties. They were looking for 2 suspects, and they've caught one of the 2 suspects. That's passed on from Tony Plohetsky. One suspect has been arrested, and they're looking for 2. Give me a shout if you have comments at Lookner on Twitter. Anna Arrow Ace Arena says, if that many people were shot, were these guys like a bad shot? He's saying, why? She says, why did so many people get shot? I can't answer that. I don't know if the people were a bad shot or if the people were shooting at each other and running at the same time, or if the people were just, shooting recklessly and didn't care if they hit anybody. I mean, it's certainly a reasonable question. I don't have a good answer for you. If you post toxic stuff in the chat, a lot of people, I've seen a number of people in social media, including in our chat, wanting to make some kind of big racial issue out of this. You just take it to the toxic racial stuff channel, but I'm going to time you out and eventually hide you. I don't really have any patience for it here. Aries thinks they were bad aimers. Linda Belk thinks the heat is making people nuts. Hang on one second here. Why are people making it about race, says Robert Kidder? Because some people love toxicity, and they love to be angry and outraged all the time, and they love to be angry all the time, and they love creating a toxic environment. That's why. Okay, so let me take a couple more comments here. Gosh, they really need to fix the Facebook chat issue. It's really ridiculous. Again, the Facebook chat has been having this issue for days. If you're having this issue on Facebook, I'd appreciate you hitting the hit the send feedback button and tell Facebook about it, because I've already done it a couple times. Facebook, if you watch the Facebook chat on a web browser, the chat doesn't update. You literally have to refresh your browser to see what people have posted. It's extremely annoying. So if anybody out there who's watching on Facebook wants to take 5 seconds and just click on send feedback and tell them this, that would be really helpful. Betty Nelson says, so sad, I watched some of the videos, so glad officers were able to give first aid. Pamela says, Chicago and Savannah last night too. Yeah, I mentioned that before. We're going to talk about that in a second. Thank you, by the way, Timothy O'Connell. That's very kind of you. Timothy O'Connell, thank you so much for the Facebook stars. It's very nice of you, Timothy. On the Sidewalk guy says, were the victims targeted? No, most of the victims were innocent bystanders. Marine Brat thinks the fight was between two motorcycle clubs in the area. I have not heard any kind of reporting saying that. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying I've heard no reporting. No reporting of that. There is some sort of bike festival, I believe, going on there. Where does it say? It says it in this article. I think. The Republic of Texas Biker Rally is happening in Austin this weekend, which also typically draws thousands of motorcyclists to the city, an entertainment district. But Chacon, the chief of police, said they have no information that the event played any role. That's what the chief of police said. This is in the Austin American Statesman article. How many people died in the shooting per Atkins? Nobody, no fatalities yet. I believe there's 2 people in critical condition, but no fatalities. Should say here somewhere. Blah, 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 blah. Where is... Tony Plohetsky's been doing good reporting on this. Yeah, 2 hours ago, officials say 14 victims, 1 additional person self-transported to hospital, 2 critical, the others are stable. Almost all of them are innocent bystanders. Okay. So that's one shooting that happened last night. And I want to talk about 2 other ones I heard about. Hang on, let's see if I can find this. 10 shot, 1 fatally when pair of shooters open fire along Lively Business District in Chatham. This is in Chicago. And again, just another large shooting incident. Last night, Chicago Sun-Times says 1 person was killed and 9 others were wounded in a mass shooting along the bustling 75th Street business corridor. It happened just after 2 a.m. when 2 males approached a group standing in a parking lot and opened fire. That sounds targeted. 2 males approached a group standing in a parking lot and opened fire. A 29-year-old woman was struck in the leg and the abdomen and died after being rushed to the hospital. Other survivors ranged from 23 to 46 and suffered gunshot wounds to their arms, legs, feet, and buttocks. All were listed in good to fair to condition. The 75th Street corridor is a lively commercial district that is home to renowned black-owned businesses. Some in the business community were still trying to understand how the shooting could happen in an area they said was a place people come to enjoy themselves and which rarely sees violence. Happened just outside of Lem's restaurant, which is closed. Let me see if I can find this. Let's find this on the map, on Google Maps. I don't know if it'll come up. No, it doesn't. What was the street address in that article? It said, I want to see you the street. Len's Barbecue, 311 East 75th Street. Chicago. There we go. I guess it's here. Is this it right here? Yes, there it is. Right there. So this is the street. You can see a lot of businesses there. And there's the barbecue place right there. That's 311 East 75th. So it says the shooting happened a parking lot off of 7500 block of South Prairie Avenue, and it said the manager of Lem's said he was told the shooting happened just outside his restaurant. So I guess maybe one of these parking areas here. A couple people came up and just started shooting at people. So 10 people were shot in this, and one died in this shooting. Emoji Girl says, can I ask what happened to the other channel? I've been wondering why there hasn't been any live streams. I keep getting this question. The answer is because I don't make the news myself. See, I can't make news myself. I can only respond and cover to what news actually happens. I don't control the world. I'm not some sort of deity. So I have to respond to what news happens in the world. And Agenda-Free TV, we just cover, big breaking news stories. So there haven't been the kind of stories in the last couple of weeks that we would normally cover on Agenda-Free TV. So when there's not those stories, I will do more of the news roundups on Agenda-Free TV too, and also stream on my own channel. But if you've watched Agenda-Free TV for a while, I would think my guess is it's pretty obvious that we don't stream every day. We might stream all day or not stream on a day, depending on what the news is. So nothing's happened to the channel. The channel's the exact same as it always was. But I have 3 channels. Well, on YouTube, 3 channels. 2 news channels, Agenda-Free TV and Agenda-Free TV 2. On the other platforms, I just do the news roundups on Agenda-Free TV. And then I have my personal channel called Lookner, where I do some non-news broadcasts. I've been streaming on Lookner a lot. When there's less news, I'll stream more on my personal channel, Lookner. And that's only on YouTube. CRT says you might want to listen to an announcement directing people to this channel. Well, frequently I will post, I forgot to do it today, but frequently I will post on the Agenda-Free TV Twitter. The links Agenda-Free TV Twitter, the links are always to this channel. And also frequently I'll say, hey, we have a news roundup coming up. It's on Agenda-Free TV 2 on YouTube. So, and then when I post on Facebook, I also post a link to Agenda-Free TV 2 on YouTube. Miss Sal says, I think every major city is the same. As soon as the weather heats up, the violence gets worse. Same crap happens in London lately. That's what Miss Sal says. The Lucky Blackbird says, listen to Chicago Zone 10 on Broadcastify shootings every weekend. Yeah, there's shootings all across America too. I'm specifically talking about the Chicago one because yesterday and last night, there were 3 shootings I'm aware of where a lot of people got shot. Up to 14 got shot in Austin, 10 got shot in Chicago, and then we haven't even talked about the Savannah one yet. I haven't heard any specifics about what caused the Chicago shooting. What was going on there? It looks like it was targeted to me. If 2 people go up to a bunch of people and start shooting. We'll talk about the Savannah one too. Doreen says, what happened in Savannah? I didn't hear about that one. We'll talk about that shortly. Nicolette Gee says, the Austin shooter still at large. They're looking for 2. There's one suspect they're looking for. They have one suspect in custody and they're looking for another suspect. Karen Mitchell mentioned hurricanes. I'm gonna talk about that right after this. We'll mention that too. Possible storm developing that might develop in the Gulf of Mexico. Karen Mitchell, our viewer, says nothing good happens after midnight. Hey, a quick thank you to, John Smith says, maybe now that people are out, there will be more shootings. Yeah, I don't know to what degree it's because people are out after the pandemic. I don't even know that there's more shootings. I mean, it seems like, a day when I hear about 3 shootings where 9 or more people are shot seems like a lot. That seems like a lot of mass shootings for one day. But I don't know that there's overall more shootings going on. I would have to look at research, look at numbers. Hey, thanks again to our moderators, Linda Belk, and also we have King Curdy watching. Hello, King Curdy and Naughty Boy watching on Twitter. Sarah55, Julian Phillips, Danny James. They're all watching. They're all moderating. I'm sorry. Linda Belk, Sarah55, Sarah Joy, Danny James, Mark Helton, Melissa McQueen, Julian Phillips. Really appreciate our moderators. Papa Bear, Racing Neophyte, and Sully. All right, let's talk about the Savannah one now. This is from Savannah Now. 8 people shot, children injured. Savannah Morning News. It's from a few hours ago. 8 people were shot Friday night outside of an East Savannah residence, killing 1 person and injuring among others an 18-month-old infant, a 15-year-old, and a 16-year-old. 2 other adults were critically injured. The Savannah Police Department responded to the incident in the River Point 1 neighborhood in the 200 block of Avery Street near the Fred Wessel's home apartments. The incident comes amid 2 other mass shooting incidents in Austin, Texas, and Chicago that took place early Saturday morning that we already talked about. Police had not identified any suspects as of this afternoon. Minter said the victims were outside of a residence that had previously been targeted on Tuesday. Look at that. The victims were outside of a residence that had previously been targeted on Tuesday. Friday night, shots were fired from inside what Minter described as a dark-colored or red sedan into a group of people outside the same residence. It's like a drive-by. This sounds kind of similar to the Chicago one, in which like a group of people were just targeted. Let's see. Or the fire, I don't know if the whole group was targeted, but the firing was at a group of people. Let's see. I want to see where this 200 Avery Street, Savannah. Let's look this up. This is in Savannah, Georgia. Somewhere around here, okay? So this is it's a residential neighborhood. See, that's the kind of neighborhood we're talking about here. Residential area. Somewhere near this intersection. Anna says, are there any connections of people, suspects, victims across these states? No, I haven't heard that there's any connection between these different large shooting incidents. Linda says, prayers for the recovery of all the victims and that the suspects are caught and prosecuted. Cryptician says, we need to stop the gun violence and police violence in America. It is overboard and out of control. Two different issues, by the way. Those are two different things. That's our viewer Cryptician's view. Barbara Danko says, why do they shoot little babies? I don't know if the kid was targeted, the toddler was targeted, or just kind of hit as an accident. I'm not sure. In the Savannah incident. Daniel Boberson says the area where the shooting happened in Austin is a real party area. Okay, so those are the three shootings. Let's hope that tonight there are not any more shootings like those. That is my hope. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to a new story. The princess says 6-year-old child died last week after being part of a road rage confrontation. I think that was in California, right? That was a couple weeks ago or something. Road rage killing of 6-year-old. A mother was driving her 6-year-old son on the 55 freeway, and this was a couple weeks, about a week ago. Investigator and the kid in the car was shot and killed. Investigators said the attack appeared to be an act of road rage. Hey, thanks, Aravic Sonder. I appreciate that. Thank you. I just, somebody brought up hurricanes before, and I just want to give you a heads up. Something that bears a little watching here. It is hurricane season now. Oh, thanks again, Aravic Sonder. Thank you, Aravic. That's much appreciated. Aravic Sonder, thank you. Okay, so here's National Hurricane Center. If you go down here, you go to 5-day tropical weather outlook. See, this is orange now. Disturbance 1, 40% chance of cyclone formation in 5 days. A cyclone is a certain, I would say it's a certain type of storm. But a cyclone can be a tropical depression, a tropical storm, or a tropical hurricane, or a tropical depression, tropical storm, or a hurricane. Tropical storm, tropical cyclone, a rapidly rotating storm system with with these various characteristics, says Wikipedia. So anyways, there's a 40% chance of cyclone formation in the next 5 days. The NHC says slow development of this system is possible over the next several days as it moves slowly and erratically, and a tropical depression could form in this area by the middle of next week. Now, if you're wondering, like, what are the forecast models saying? For example, we can look at Tropical Tidbits and see what they have to say. We were using weathermodels.com yesterday. I'm going to look at Tropical Tidbits today. Here's Tropical Tidbits. So what we can do is we can look at some different weather models. Like here's the GFS model. And if we play this forward, look down here in the Gulf of Mexico and see what you see. You can see, hold on. How many hours is this? There we go. See, right there. That would be the storm system right there, I believe they're talking about. And see, it says pressure 1006. This is the current GFS model prediction. I don't know if that would be a hurricane. If it would be, maybe a Cat 1. That says 1001. So it could be a hurricane at that point, or just a tropical storm. And you can see the color is rainfall. So the GFS looks like maybe it's calling for a tropical storm right now, going into the coast of Gulf of Mexico, near Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Panhandle. Then the GFS model, latest run of that. No, we want a European model. Let's see what it says. Now here we're just going to get we're not going to get the precipitation there. Let's look at the icon model. German icon model. What does it not have it? Oh, it doesn't go far enough out. Any other one here? Canadian model? How about that one? Canadian model. CMC model. See, you have the heavy rain, and this says 1,003, which would seem at least like a tropical storm. 1,001 pressure, 1,001 pressure, 1,000 pressure, and that would be in a week. That'd be Saturday morning next week. So you have a couple of models saying, at least maybe a tropical storm forming, and then this has it, this, and maybe making landfall somewhere on the Gulf Coast, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida Panhandle. So worth keeping an eye on. Again, this is Tropical Tidbits. You can go to Tropical Tidbits and use the different models there. Let me just check. I was messing around with weathermodels.com as well. I tried this one out too. Let's quickly look at weather models. If it opens up for me, it's not opening up right now. Oh, here it is. Hang on, folks. Model maps. Model animators. So we want model. Let's get the Euro model. Then we want Gulf of Mexico. Then we want, do they have precipitation and, okay, so this is weathermodels.com. So what's this one going to show? Preload. So it loads it all up. And then, let's see. Yeah, here you go. So this would be, that is 160, that's Saturday. That's next Saturday. And see the dark green here? That's rainfall. And then the pressure, it says 1,008. The lowest I'm seeing is 1,008. And then it has this heavy rainfall making its way. I mean, then you're getting into like Sunday. Louisiana coast. Oh, and that says, actually here, this is interesting, by there it says 1,002. This is like Monday morning, Sunday night. It says 1,002. So it looks like the European model is suggesting maybe a tropical storm as well. So anyways, worth keeping an eye on. That's all I'm saying. Things can change. Oh, the other thing that's another good page to look at is let's look at Mike's weather page, because Mike's weather page will have the predictions about how strong the storm will get. It's another good one. Mike's weather page. If you go, well, I don't even know if they'll have it up for this yet, because it's so early. I don't think they have it posted yet. When they're tracking a storm, they'll post like different predictions that different models have about how strong the storm will get. But I don't know that even is posted on here yet, because it's so early right now for this system. All right, well, I'll keep an eye on it. Aries says, well, beware of rapid intensification. You never know, though. Sometimes, you see the National Hurricane Center saying, well, there's a chance of a tropical cyclone forming, and you're like, okay, no big deal. And then a few days later, it's a bigger deal. Margot says, hoping for a super chill hurricane season this year. I am good. Madden says 1,001 is usually a tropical storm. In terms of the hurricane pressures, I actually have a web page which talks about what the usual pressures are for hurricanes. I'll show you that right now. I haven't looked at it in months, so I forget. Where is it here? Yes. This is an article from Weather Channel. Yeah, according to this article, like you could I mean, it's not exact, but it suggests that you can be in the 980s and have a Cat 1 hurricane. I am good at Madden says hurricane is around 980. I mean, that looks to, 980, 990 maybe. Pressure. So just a kind of the hurricanes is not based on pressure. Classification of hurricanes is based on wind speed, but they usually have a certain pressure for a certain hurricane. Salon Girl says, no hurricanes, please. I'm not over COVID yet. Lil Chi says, I don't think that storm system will be a hurricane, but if it does, it will be maybe a Cat 1 at best. Linda has a friend who just moved to the Florida Panhandle. Oh, Linda mentions Levi Cowan. Yeah, the guy who does Tropical Tidbits is named Levi Cowan. You can follow him on Twitter, too. I think Linda said he posted on YouTube. But let me show you where he is on Twitter. See Tropical Tidbits. Levi Cowan at Tropical Tidbits. Oh, see, he did a video on it, yeah. Saturday video discussion on Invest 92L, a disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico being monitored for tropical development. Oh, I see, I missed his post earlier. 2 hours ago, he said, first chance for the Gulf of Mexico disturbance to develop will be during the next 3 days as it sits in the Bay of Campeche. Deep layer northerly flow will bottle it down there until well next week. Rains and flooding concern for Mexico. Possible move north late next week, but details remain fuzzy. So we'll keep an eye on this. What are the water temperatures right now in the Gulf of Mexico? We go to windy. We got to go to water temperature. Where's that at? Sea temperature. I want to say that it needs to be like above 80 to sustain a hurricane. Gulf of Mexico, it's all pretty much all 80s here that I'm seeing. Let me just see if I can. It's been a while since we talked about this. Weather.gov says ocean waters must be above 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Below this temperature, hurricanes will not form or will weaken rapidly once they move over water below this threshold. So it must be above 79 degrees. So 80 or above, or maybe 79.1 or above, or whatever it is. The water temperature in the Gulf of Mexico right now clearly can support hurricanes. And also something else to note, like later in the year, when the water starts cooling, it'll get cooler close to the coast. But if you notice right now, when you get close to the Gulf Coast, the water is still over 80 degrees. Warmer water will contribute to stronger hurricanes. But this time of year right now in the Gulf of Mexico, it looks like it's all over 80. That's windy.com. Rusty G says, nice warm water, going to be shark season soon. Laverne says, I have a bad feeling about Alabama. Pray that I am wrong. Oh, we should also mention the hot weather coming up. Let's do that. Let's talk about that. Give me a shout if you have comments at Lookner on Twitter. Maybe 420 says the Gulf warms and cools quickly. Regarding the Chicago shooting we talked about earlier, the Chicago shooting incident last night, the Lucky Blackbird says Chicago Sun-Times has a list of homicides in Chicago on a digital map. If you want it, you can find Chicago Sun-Times list of homicides in Chicago in the last 12 months. And they have a map. Just in case, and they write about each one that they know about, I guess. That's at Chicago Sun-Times if you want to go there. Morella Montoya says it's very hot in Austin. Supposed to be some very hot temperatures next week. Look, triple-digit heat for some surprising areas next week. Let's read what Weather Channel has to say. Oh, it's a video. I thought it was an article. Let's see if I can find an article. Here it is. Dangerous heat wave headed to west. Latest forecast. Temps will climb to 118 in Palm Springs and 117 in Phoenix. Heat alerts are in effect for 36 million people, of course, 6 Southwest states. Ooh, this was today. Today, temperatures were expected to reach 115 in Phoenix. 110 in Las Vegas and Palm Springs, Florida? Florida? That's not in the West. Palm Springs, California, I think. Record heat next week. Here are some temperatures here. Palm Springs, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, and Phoenix. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Some cities to watch for record highs, says ABC News. Salt Lake City, Denver, Phoenix, Tucson, Las Vegas, Palm Springs, and Sacramento. Kate Moffitt says, I live in Palm Springs. We're expecting 118 to 120. Ugh. Ann M. points out the West is in horrible drought. Linda says, in Texas, where she is, it's cooling into the 90s next week. Not Cupcake says fire season's going to be a beast this year. Nicolette Geese says going to be between 110 and 118 in Arizona this week. Barbara Danko says, I'm in the east, so all good. Betty Nelson is very concerned about fire season this year. All right, so we'll keep an eye on the heat wave. We'll keep an eye on the possible tropical cyclone forming in the Gulf of Mexico over the next week. Maybe we'll do a stream on it if it develops enough. But maybe we'll move on to another story right now. Beth says it's 108 in Scottsdale right now. Actually, windy is good for, let's look at the temperatures here. Let's look at windy, and let's look at temperature. How do I turn off? It's showing the, I wanted to turn off the webcams. Let me make it turn off the webcams. Oh, I did it. Okay, this is temperature. This is now, well, this is, so let's, this is, it's not, it's like the model prediction for what it is now. These are not actual readings from now. But let me show you, this is according to the European model, what it predicts they are now. If you want what the temperatures are now, you can turn them on. See, those are the temperatures now. The numbers you're seeing are actual temperature readings. But what we can do is we can go to Monday. Let's go to Monday afternoon. I think. Why is this not changing? I have it on temperature. Windy's acting strange. Oh, here it is. There it is. Monday, Tuesday, Monday night. So this is forecast for Monday 9 p.m. So this is like Monday afternoon forecast. Okay? According to European model. LA 95, Vegas 109, Phoenix 115. Salt Lake City close to 100. You can go to Windy and mess around and look at the prediction. You know, you can look several days ahead for predicted temperatures. John Smith says fire concern. Well, there are drought conditions. I don't know what the wind's going to be like. Beth says it's going to be brutal. I mean, I can look. I mean, this is, if I go to wind gusts, where's wind gusts? Wind gusts. That's wind gusts. So I'm going to go through the next couple days. You're looking for like a lot of pink is what you're looking for. These are some pretty high wind gusts. That's Sunday afternoon. Hold on. I need this off. How do I turn off the temperatures? How do I turn off the temperatures? That's wind. Maybe they're just on. Anyways, this is wind, what we're looking for here. But I was showing you, the wind gusts is what I wanted to show you. Prediction for wind gusts. So this is like Sunday afternoon. So there's some wind gusts in the 30s. I mean, it's nothing really crazy here. This is into Monday. You know, there's some gusts into the 30s here on Monday. Ooh, see, look at this. Now, this is Monday evening, Monday afternoon, Monday evening. You do have some gusts getting into a bunch of gusts in the 30s. So I can't speak to what the fire warnings will be, but I'm just showing you what the wind is, how the wind forecast is. Bunch of wind offshore there. Well, we'll keep an eye out on the big weather news. Hey, Sunshine, Arizona says, here on Tuesday it'll be 122. It's actually good for me to refamiliarize myself with all the weather sites as we get into, summer. Because it's been a little while since I used a number of these sites. Our viewer Kirsten DeVore says, I was just in Salt Lake, so dangerously dry. Now I have to literally refresh the Facebook page because the chat isn't working, and I have to refresh every time I want to see the new chat messages. Duster says there are fires in Arizona and New Mexico. There are some current fires. I haven't heard about anything like new and huge at the moment. So there's like some ongoing fires. One of the articles we read said that. All right, if you have comments, give me a shout on Twitter @Lookner. Hey, you know what I want to mention? Another story that happened today. Hold on. I want to talk about this. Look. A spot on a space flight with Jeff Bezos was auctioned off for $28 million. I'm planning on covering the Jeff Bezos space flight. Jeff Bezos, who's the founder of Amazon, he's actually going to go with his brother in this flight, in this rocket flown by his space exploration company, Blue Origin. This is NPR. Amazon billionaire Jeff Bezos is going into space on July 20th on a reusable rocket made by his space exploration company Blue Origin. So is his younger brother Mark. And now pledging $28 million, a mystery bidder has won an auction to join them on the ride. The ride is expected to last about 11 minutes. The $28 million will be donated to Club for the Future, Blue Origin's foundation to inspire future generations to pursue careers in STEM and help invent the future of life in space, said the company. The fourth crew member name will be announced soon, the company said. Only a brief portion of the flight will be spent above the Kármán line, the altitude at which space begins, about 62 miles above sea level. According to a graphic. Let's see the graphic. This is Blue Origin. Where's the graphic? Oh, the New Shepard flight experience. So, rocket liftoff. Rocket accelerates to space as astronauts feel 3 Gs. 2 minutes in, 3 minutes in, 0 G, 0 gravity begins. Astronauts unbuckle as weightlessness begins 3 minutes in. Then the astronauts, for about 3 minutes, they will be weightless and can unbuckle. 3 minutes later, the astronauts have to rebuckle. Sensation of gravity begins to return. Then the parachutes deploy about 8 minutes in. Then it says gentle landing. The capsule lands softly in the West Texas desert. About a 10-11 minute flight. Aries says he's the one who bought the spot on the ship, on the rocket. Jeff Haas says the mystery person's first name is Elon. Rita's Real says, what if it's one of Bezos' arch rivals? I'm actually surprised Jeff Bezos is doing this in a way. I mean, he's no longer the CEO of Amazon, but like, he's such an important person. Like, it, you know, I would think there's there's some sort of risk, some sort of not insignificant risk of you dying, I would think. I mean, accidents can happen on spacecraft. I don't know if the risk has been calculated out, though. I don't even know, because it's like this is a rocket that this company is building. So I'm sure they've been testing it. I don't know. I'm surprised. I mean, but he really wants to do it. It's his company. He can spend his money how he wants, you know. So, you know, if he really wants to do it and it's his company, then that's his choice. LJD says they're risk takers. I think I'm gonna try to cover this though live. Guarak says Euphrates cat to me. Twitch Tweaker says he's a single man allowed to take risks again. On the Sidewalk guy says 1 in 30 risk. What, according to what on the Sidewalk guy? I'd be interested in knowing what are the chances of some serious accident. I do not know. Quiana says, I'm surprised as well, considering Elon hasn't been to space himself and he owns a rocket company. Maybe Elon Musk does not want to go to space himself. I mean, it's like a whole thing, going up in a capsule and, being subjected to those forces. Also, I think you got to also be like okay with being like in a closed space. Although I don't know how big the space is in that rocket. Excuse me. Nicolette says on your home page, scroll down to live and you can see the comments. Are the comments showing up live, Nicolette? Let's see. I can see the Facebook comments. The problem is I can't see them as they're being made live. I have to constantly refresh the page. So I don't believe on my home page. I believe it's the same thing. It's not. They don't just pop up as they happen. Blue Origin, New Shepard. About Blue. This is his company. Jeff Bezos and his brother will join auction winner on New Shepard's first human flight on July 20th, which sold for $28 million the seat. We just said that. Chris Lund said, would I go if given the chance? It's a good question. Chris, I think one thing I would need to know is what the training is like. If the training involves like you have to go into this box that's 2 foot wide and sit there for 12 hours to simulate the claustrophobia you might feel, I don't know if I could handle the training. Like, it'd be a cool experience. I also don't know. I would need to know what the risks are. If you told me there was like a 1% risk of dying, I probably would not go. I mean, that's a big risk. Like, if somebody said, here's 100 jelly beans, one of these is fatal, but you don't know which one. Would you eat one of them? I'd just be like, no, I'm not going to eat one of them. One of them is fatal. So I think I'd probably only go if there were really good odds that it was not going to kill me. There's such a potential cost. I'm sure it'd be really cool, obviously. Sarah says, I get claustrophobia. Miss Sal says, freaked out having an MRA, so not me. Rusty G says, just pay for a 0G plane experience. Lady Edith says, there are plane flights that take you to weightlessness. Now, I'm guessing, though, you'll have some cool visuals from this craft as it goes into space for a few minutes. Alibaba says, I would love to feel the gain of speed. Margot says, I would go. Read Israel says, it's not the claustrophobic thing for me. It's the G-forces. I would pass out. It's definitely not for the risk averse. See, I don't even have a good sense of how strong those forces would be. Like, what would that feel like? On the website, it says that they would face 3+ G-forces. So, I mean, what does that even feel like? Space Answers says astronauts normally experience a maximum G-force of around 3 Gs during a rocket launch. This is equivalent to 3 times the force of gravity humans are normally exposed to when on Earth, but is survivable for the passengers. Space answers. Astronauts are trained in high G-force, wear G-suits, and must be correctly prepared. Leslie D. would go. Wikipedia has an article on high G training. High G training is done by aviators and astronauts who are subject to high levels of acceleration, G. It is designed to prevent a G-induced loss of consciousness, a situation when the action of G forces moves the blood away from the brain to the extent that consciousness is lost. Wow. Incidents of acceleration-induced loss of consciousness have caused fatal accidents in aircraft capable of sustaining high G for considerable periods. So you need to train for this. It's very interesting. As G-forces increase, effects include a loss of color vision, followed by tunnel vision. If G-forces increase further, complete loss of vision will occur, while consciousness remains. These effects are due to reduction of blood flow to the eyes before blood flow to the brain is lost. You can read about this on Wikipedia. Michelle says the ultimate roller coaster experience, I think just getting in a car has a 1% risk. I don't think getting in a car has a 1% risk of dying, but there is a significant risk, of course, not insignificant risk for being in a car. Now, I don't know these days, if you're somebody like Jeff Bezos or some random person, in addition to the risk you would have from some sort of failure of the aircraft, what would the risk be to you that after going through training you would still have some negative effects of the G-forces? I have no idea. I can't tell you. You don't understand? So the person who won the auction, the seat on this flight was sold for $28 million. Didn't the auction just happen? So that person only has a month to train, right? The rocket flight is July 20th. Today is June 12th. The person's only going to train for a month? That doesn't seem like enough, does it? I don't know. See? The auction just ended. Ann M says, my Air Force beau wore a pressure suit that increases pressure on your legs that keeps the blood in the brain. Flew recon. Anna says, was the auction reduced to those already trained in passing health stuff? I have no idea. It's a good question. I don't know. Shaft ZX says, prime training 2 days. All right, so we're gonna. This is something we're going to be keeping more of an eye on. Clearly. Can I find anything else about this? Now, here's an article from a few weeks ago. This is bidding opens for a seat on Blue Origin's first passenger spaceflight. From New York Times, we now know the auction's been won the auction's been won with a $28 million bid. The flight will carry 6 astronauts on a short jaunt to the edge of outer space, says New York Times. Blue Origin has been preparing for years for the start of its space tourism program, which would offer suborbital trips to what is considered the boundary of outer space. A competitor, Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic, also plans to fly space tourists on suborbital jaunts. Blue Origin's tourist rocket, New Shepard, is named after Alan Shepard, the first American to go into space. It has undergone 15 test flights, none of which had passengers aboard. Jeff Bezos is going to be part of the first passenger group ever on a Blue Origin tourist rocket. For July's crewed launch, astronauts will arrive to the launch site in West Texas 4 days before their flight for safety training? I'm so confused. Oh, look! The vehicle is fully pressurized, so passengers won't need to wear spacesuits or helmets. I had no idea about this. Look at that. The vehicle is fully pressurized, so passengers won't need to wear spacesuits or helmets. So will they not feel the G-forces? I mean, they're still going fast. I'm confused now. How about that? No spacesuits needed. Huh. No, there's never been people sent up in this particular rocket before. According to the terms of agreement for the auction, the winning bidder must have a height and weight from 5 feet tall and 110 pounds to 6 feet 4 and 223 pounds. The astronaut must be comfortable with walking on heights at above 70 feet above ground level on the gangway, be able to climb the launch tower, equivalent to 7 flights of stairs, in less than 90 seconds, and be able to fasten his or her own harness in less than 15 seconds. The astronaut must also be comfortable with lots of pressure pressing down on him or her for several minutes during both the ascent and descent. This is an astronaut this is a member of Blue Origin, a worker for Blue Origin, simulating astronaut ingress going into the capsule. I guess that's what it's going to look like when you're in the capsule. So no spacesuit and no helmet needed. And that's the crew capsule right there. That's what the crew capsule looks like. They'll be in this thing. They don't have that much room to float around. Like once they take off, there's 6 people in there. Once they take off their, seatbelts for the 3 minutes of weightlessness, there's not that much room for them to start going crazy. Very interesting. No, not cupcakes. They do not have to fly the spacecraft. You are watching our live news roundup here on Agenda Free TV and Agenda Free TV 2. Just a reminder, so if you're watching on YouTube, my main news channel on YouTube is Agenda Free TV. But sometimes we do these news roundups on Agenda Free TV 2. If you're watching on one of the other platforms, I have one news channel, Agenda Free TV. So if you're on YouTube, what you can do is just go to, if you're on any of my channels, just go to channels, and you'll see all the channels. So Agenda Free TV is the main one. The secondary one, where we sometimes do news roundups, is Agenda Free TV 2, which you're watching right now on YouTube. And then there's also my personal channel called Look Nerd, where I do non-news live streams. We did a stream last night, for example. And if you like the coverage and you want to support it, you can donate by going to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. And also, we now accept, as of a couple days ago, some people asked, can we donate crypto? Yes, I can now accept crypto donations. I am working on getting a page up where you can, with all the links to the crypto wallets. if people want to donate crypto. But if you are interested, you can reach out to me or the moderators, and they will tell you the public wallet address you can donate crypto to. It's a new thing. Kisei says, I'm sad I'm not tall or heavy enough for space travel. That crushed my dreams a bit. Maybe you'll grow? Underdog Rising, I'm removing your comment. Come on, Underdog Rising. It is a very interesting that the whole thing with Bezos being on the flight is very, very interesting. The whole thing is very interesting. We will definitely be covering it. The more I learn about it, the more interested I am in it. Oh, they just put Austin Police just posted an update. Hold on. I'll check this out in a second. Hang on one second here. I just have to refresh the Facebook page because the Facebook chat is broken. I have to refresh to be able to see the comments. Betty Nelson says they won't be up there long. Yeah, the flight's about 10 minutes long. Dave Mascoli says Google roller coaster G-force. Hold on a second here. Wikipedia says, oh, the G-force roller coaster, sorry. There's an article, rollercoasterfandom.com. 2 G's of force is the, what is it here? Ooh, there was this is crazy. So they're going to feel 3 G's of force on the Blue Origin rocket. You can see here there's a bunch of roller coasters which have higher G-forces than that. All these have 5G, 5.2G, 5.9G. But Flip Flap Railway, is this correct? Around 1895 to 1902, people felt 12 Gs? Is that true? The Flip Flap Railway, which is dangerously extreme, according to Coasterpedia. Flip Flap Railway. Is there a Wikipedia article on this? The Flip Flap Railway was the name of a looping wooden roller coaster which operated for a number of years on Coney Island. It was notable for its engineering as well as the extreme G-forces the engineering inflicted on riders. Really? Flip Flap Railway was notorious for the extreme G-forces it produced in its riders. The circular nature of the coaster's loop, as well as its relatively small diameter of 25 feet, meant it could produce forces of approximately 12 G. This caused riders to often experience discomfort and neck injuries from whiplash. Modern looping roller coasters use teardrop-shaped loops to greatly reduce these forces. Wow. And then there's a little video here. There it is. See, it's not big. It's not big and it's not long. This is from Wikipedia. How about that? Then there's a picture of it. I never knew. Flip Flap Railway. Who knew? Remember when I was a kid, there was this ride we would go on at an amusement park where it was like a cylinder, and the cylinder would turn around, and you'd step inside the cylinder, and then once the ride started, it basically you were pushed against the cylinder, so you wouldn't fall down. You were kind of like, because it was spinning around, and you were pushed against the back of it, which was kind of cool. Anyways, I never knew about Flip Flap Railway. See if I can find anything else on that. Math, science, history. Physics of the flip-flap roller coaster. There it is. What engineers didn't... Math, science, history says, what engineers did not understand was the effect of gravity forces on the human body. Technically, our bodies can only handle a force of 5 Gs. However, the flip-flap made its thrill seekers endure 12 Gs on the body. Anything over 5 can be detrimental to the human body. 12 Gs can cause gravity-induced loss of consciousness. There's a whole article about this. You can read it, Math, Science, History. Okay. Chris says, I remember that ride, the Gravitron, the one I was talking about. That. I forget what the one I went on was called. Wikipedia has a page on Gravitron. The ride is completely enclosed with 48 panels lining the inside wall. Riders lean against these panels. As the ride rotates, centrifugal force is exerted against the pads by the rider, removing the rider from the floor due to the slant. Oh, you feel on this ride, you feel 3 Gs, which is what they're going to feel on the Blue Origin rocket. Interesting. One sec says it's also how long you're exposed to these forces. Sam Kim says, this is agenda-free top news for today. Sam Kim is all angry because we don't spend the entire broadcast. We can't have we can't go off on any sidetracks, according to Sam Kim. He's very angry that we sidetracked on talking about this because we were talking about Blue Origin. Sam doesn't think we should be allowed to sidetrack at all here. Okay, I want to show you this update on the by the Austin police. Okay, let's see this update about the Austin shooting that they posted. Oh, it's right here. One suspect is in custody. The second suspect remains at large. The Austin PD, blah, 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 blah. The Austin police continues to investigate an early morning shooting that occurred in downtown Austin, where 13 victims sustained gunshot wounds or were injured, so maybe not 13 shot, and a suspect remains at large. There were multiple shots fired around 1:24 a.m. A large crowd of people began to disperse. There were a total of 13 victims who sustained gunshot wounds or were injured. 11 victims are in stable condition and 2 victims are in critical condition. No fatalities have been reported. The suspect remains at large. It says, it is unknown if there is one or multiple suspects involved. There is one suspect described as a black male with dreadlocks wearing a black shirt and a skinny build. This appears to be an isolated incident. This isn't really any new information. We think we heard this all before. Thank you, Polly, for your support. Polly says Gravitron was a go-to at the carnivals growing up. Post 45, it will not happen again. Casimiera says, I was not notified for this broadcast, even though I have subscribed to all. Well, let me go over this again. It seems like once a broadcast, I have to go over this. First of all, the best way to get informed about my broadcasts is sign up for the Discord. Repeat after me. Sign up for the Discord. The Discord notifications are the best. The Discord is a chat room where viewers of my channels can chat with each other when we're not on the air. But even if you don't do the chat, if you just sign up for the Discord, you get notifications. What I would recommend is do what I do, which is download the Discord app on your phone, and then every time I go on the air on any of my channels, you will get a notification on your phone that we're going on the air. Those are the most reliable notifications. So sign up for the Discord. Also, you can follow on Twitch, on Twitter. Agenda Free TV on Twitter. You can turn notifications on. I post about all the Agenda Free TV and Agenda Free TV 2 broadcasts there. And then for my personal channel, I have Lookner channel. And I post about all the Lookner personal stream broadcasts there. You can turn notifications on for that. And then you don't just need to subscribe to the channels on YouTube. You have to turn notifications bell on and choose all notifications. Look. For example, Lookner channel, there's a bell. You've got to click the bell and choose all notifications. So do all of those things. That's what I would recommend. Do all of them. Gunner Star says, I follow you on Twitter. That's how I find out too sometimes. Hey, thank you to the princess. Thanks, the princess. I appreciate that. Excuse me. Miss Sal says, I find Twitter much better at notifications than YouTube. Marcel Kern says, for me, YouTube notifications always seem to work. They work for me too, but... Sam Kim says, I'll stick around. I'm skeptical on the agenda-free angle. Okay, well, you could, I mean, there's well over 1,000 videos on Agenda Free TV. I mean, this is Agenda Free TV 2 you're watching now. But Sam, you know what you can do? Just go to Agenda Free TV. Look at all the videos. There's so many videos, well over 1,000 videos. Just start watching the coverage. See if you think there's an agenda there. If you do, I think you're wrong. But be my guest. There's all kinds of coverage you can watch. Well over 1,000 videos. Okay, let's see here. I now have way too much open on my desktop. I need to clean up my desktop. Let me clean things up here. Okay. Oh, in case you missed it, there was this incident today where it was a Denmark player, where a star player for the Denmark team collapsed during a game against Finland, and they stopped the game. And then they took him to the hospital. It looked like he might have died initially, but then they took him to the hospital and he was conscious when they were bringing him off the field. Oh, first of all, let me just say, Marcel Kern, that's extremely generous of you, Marcel. Marcel from Canada. That's very generous of you, Marcel. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Marcel. Very kind of you. Thank you so much. Very nice of you. And also, Duster Singer. Thank you, Duster Singer, for your support. Duster's over there on Facebook. Thank you so much, Duster. That's very kind of you as well. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Very nice of you. Much appreciated. Marcel and Duster. Okay, so some of you know this was going on. It was really scary. You can see this is a Reuters article. Denmark midfielder Christian Eriksen was rushed to hospital after collapsing during the soccer match. Soccer officials later said the player was stable and awake. I haven't heard what happened to him. One of his teammates appeared to stick his fingers in Eriksen's mouth to clear his airway or check he hadn't swallowed his tongue. He regained consciousness. Well, it appeared he was consciousness as he was being carted off the field. When this happened, you can actually find footage of this, like on Twitter or YouTube if you just search for it. It's very scary because he's running on the field and then he just stumbles and collapses, and then they show a close-up of him and his eyes are open and he's just he's motionless. I was wondering if he died. It was scary. Marcus Bell says he is fine and talking. Well, I saw a report that his agent said he was talking. B&O News posted something about that. B&O News posted, Denmark midfielder Christian Eriksen is conscious, breathing, and able to talk, his agent says. But I haven't heard anything about what caused this. I don't know what it would be. I don't know if he has a medical history where he had some condition that would lead to something like this. Manic Miner says he was given CPR. Tony says, I was watching that game this morning, missed this part. Laverne says, very hard to watch. If you find something more specific about his condition, please let me know. Because I haven't seen specifics. Read Israel says, sounds like a seizure. Karen says, was the Denmark guy young enough to have myocarditis? I don't know what the cause of him collapsing was. Duster said, I joined the Discord, but nothing happens. So if you have questions about the Discord, there's a great way to get those questions answered. There's an email address where somebody will be happy to help you. Is it aftvfansdiscord@gmail.com? Is that what it is? One of the moderators will post it. I think it's aftvfansdiscord@gmail.com. Just write them and tell them what the issue is, and they'll work with you. Let me just confirm this. Tanya says it was quite hot there. Hang on, I'm going to post the email address. Duster says, I don't know how the Discord works. They'll help you. They will help you. If you message them and say, I don't know how it works, I want to do it, somebody will write you back and help you. I'm just waiting to confirm the email address. As soon as I can confirm it, I will post it. Oops. The princess says, Discord is awesome once you learn to navigate. By the way, here's a different article from ESPN. UEFA, I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm sure there's a way people pronounce it. UEFA, maybe, said Eriksen has been stabilized and the Danish Football Federation said he was awake. But that's all I've heard. Eriksen had just played a short pass when he fell face down to the ground. He was given chest compressions as his Denmark teammates stood around him in a shielding wall for privacy. Volpe, who is the team physician for Inter Milan, which I think is the team he plays on. Yes. Volpe said Eriksen never got COVID, has no medical conditions that he's aware of, and has passed every medical exam without problem since joining Inter Milan in January 2020. But we'll talk about that when the time is right, Volpe added of Eriksen's medical history. He is one of Denmark's biggest stars. The Denmark team doctor said when he got out there, it was pretty clear he was unconscious. The incident brought back memories of other soccer players who have collapsed on the field, including Fabrice Muamba, who needed CPR in 2012. He fully recovered. We never got the confirmation of the Discord help email. Does no one have that? I was going to post it to answer to the viewer in Facebook, to Duster, who had asked a Discord question. I need to write it down. Oh, there it is. AFTVfansDiscord@gmail.com. So I was right. Thank you, Melissa. Duster, I just posted it, the email address. Write to them and say, I don't know how Discord works. Can you help me? And they'll be happy to help you. Excuse me. Jamie Hibbert says, I was watching when it happened. Tanya Felicity says, I was wrong about it being hot there, only 57 Fahrenheit. Where was the game? I don't know where the game was. Thank you, Tanya Since Felicity. I appreciate that. Glenn Cullen says there's another Chinese rocket out of control. Well, no, China had another launch, but from what I read, that a rocket launch a couple weeks ago, but from what I read, there was like maybe a piece floating around significantly smaller than the one last time. Jonathan McDowell, who's an astronomer at Harvard, had posted about this like a week ago, and he said the newest launch, he wasn't particularly concerned about the piece that was up there. He was posting about it a ton the first time. See if I can find his post. But he said he didn't think this latest rocket launch warrants worried news stories. I have to find it. Somewhere in here. I can't find it. Yeah, I'm not aware of any huge Chinese rocket part comparable to the last one that's floating around right now. The last one was a large part of a rocket that weighed like 20-something tons. But I'll certainly let you know if I see anything more about it. But I haven't seen any reporting saying it's like similar to last time. Tanya says it was played in Denmark, the game. Okay, let's see here. Way Red, our viewer, said Muamba actually died for 80 minutes. The player discussed in that article. Here's an article from Channel 4. This is about a soccer player in 2012. 4 News. How did Fabrice Muamba die for 80 minutes? A doctor who attended to Fabrice Muamba after he suffered heart failure said the footballer in effect died for more than an hour. But how can someone die and be able to speak 48 hours later? Blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to read this all now. If you want to read more about this, you can go to 4 News. That's about a 2012 incident when a soccer player collapsed. Lenico says, when I looked back on the video from today of the player collapsing, I thought I saw his muscles spasm in shock, but not sure. What I am sure of is them doing CPR for a few minutes. It did, when I watched the video, it did seem like he was on the ground, like his body was twitching a bit, but I don't know to what extent. Okay. And again, I haven't heard any new reporting on what caused it, so I'll certainly keep an eye out for that. If you're hearing anything new or you have comments, write to me on Twitter @Lookner. Debbie says, do you sell any agenda-free merchandise? If so, how do we find it? A quick summary, you can find the mugs at Zazzle.com, like the mug I use. If you go to zazzle.com and look up Agenda Free TV, you will find the mugs. They usually have a coupon, or you can find coupons online. That's the one I have. I order it from Zazzle.com. That's Zazzle. We have T-shirts on Amazon. If you go to Amazon and you look up Agenda Free TV, you can find T-shirts there. And also, you can find, for your phone, the pop socket that goes on the back of your phone. You can find that there too. There's a bunch of different colors of T-shirts on Agenda Free TV. There, that's Amazon. And then TeePublic has a bunch of merchandise. Shirts and sweaters and that kind of thing. TeePublic. TeePublic, go there and look up Agenda Free TV. And you can find stuff there as well. Sean, do I owe you? Sean, did I not send you a T-shirt? Is that true? It's very possible. I have to write it down, Sean. It was probably during the Israel thing, and I was saving it for after, and I just zoned out about it. Let me make sure, though. I thought I might have sent it. I'm going to check, Sean. I'll check on it. I thought I did send it, actually. Maybe I didn't. I will look into it. Sean, I will look into it. Oh, hey, thanks so much, Dennis Saint Amour. Right after the broadcast, Sean, I'll look into it. Dennis Saint Amour, thanks for your support. I really appreciate that. Dennis Saint Amour. Okay. Ooh. Let's check my notes here. Oh, somebody messaged me today asking about the New York mayor election. I think we might cover this. The New York Democratic primary for mayor, because whoever wins the Democratic primary is pretty certain to win the actual election, since New York is so Democratic, New York City. So that is on June, what is that? June 22nd, which is in 10 days. So I think we might do coverage of that. We might. But there's this interesting thing that they're doing in New York City, which is ranked choice voting. You don't just vote for one person. You have the option of voting for up to 5 people where you rank your first, your second, and third, fourth, and fifth choice. And so that way, if your first choice is someone who gets like 10% of the vote, you can still have a say in who gets elected, because if your first choice doesn't get that many votes, they might go to your second choice. There's a very specific way this works. And this is the NYC Votes website. But they actually have a little diagram here. So it says, see how votes are counted in rounds. So you rank basically, so you might say, why do they want to do this? Well, one reason to do this is that If you have a bunch of candidates running, right, and everybody only votes for one person, somebody could win with like 27% of the vote. And so there might be somebody who like 27% of the people love and everybody else absolutely hates. But they could win an election with very low percentage of the vote if a lot of people are running. So if you start having ranked choice voting, then it's a lot less likely somebody will win unless who only a small percentage of the public actually likes, because you're not just going to win if you have 30% of people's votes and then 30% of people rank you as your first choice and then nobody else ranks you as like their second, third, or fourth, or fifth choice. So one thing it does is it, in theory, makes candidates try to appeal to a wider spectrum of the public. So that even if you're not their first choice, you might be their second, third, or fourth choice. So the way this works, though, so say there's 6 candidates here. So say these are the initial votes. Say there are 100 votes or whatever it is. So in an election where everybody votes for one person and has one vote, the election would be over and Orange would win. Orange would have 30 votes. What is this? 40, 50. Yeah, this is 100 votes. In this election, if Orange was the only one voting, Orange would win with 30 votes, even if 70 people hated Orange. But the way ranked choice voting works is you have to get to 50%. So you look at what the votes, these are the first choice. These are everybody's first choice, who they want as their first choice. If nobody gets half of the votes, then you eliminate the person who came in last place, which is yellow. And then you take everybody who voted for yellow, and then you look at who they chose as their second choice. And you assign those votes that went to yellow to people's second choice who voted for yellow. So if you voted for yellow first and green second, and then yellow only got 5 votes, they eliminate yellow, and then your vote will go to green. So that's the next step that happens. Watch. Yellow's going to disappear. See, yellow disappears, and then the votes that went to yellow now are redistributed based on the people who voted for yellow, who their second choice was. And you can see nobody has half yet. So we do the same thing again. Now the person in last place is green. So now they're going to eliminate green, and 10 people voted for green for their first choice. So now you'll go down on those people's ballots and see who the next choice is on their ballot. So green will disappear, and see so green caught up, purple caught up a little bit because more of the green voters preferred purple to orange. But nobody reached 50 yet. Now you do it again. So the last place is pink. So you get rid of the pink votes and you redistribute the votes again. And then nobody's won yet, so you get rid of the blue votes and you look at their lower choices. There you go. So this is a case where just based on first place votes, Orange would have won because Orange had the most votes. But Orange didn't have as many, second and third place and that kind of vote. So eventually, with ranked choice voting, purple wins. That's how they're doing it. That's how they're doing it in New York City for the mayor primary. So if you see a poll about who's winning in the New York City mayor primary, I saw one the other day where like the leading candidate had like 23% and Alan Yang had like 20%. That's not going to tell you what you really need to know, because you'd also want to know how are those, among the people who aren't voting for each candidate, how many are ranking those candidates, how many second place votes are they getting? Because the second place votes will probably be really important. Underdog Rising says it's a superior system in every way. Again, the general idea, though, is if there's ranked choice voting, that in theory the candidates have to try to make themselves appealing to a larger group of voters than they would otherwise. See, like this is 3 days ago. Ooh, that's not going to be what I wanted. Is it an article? Hold on. This is 3 days ago. And it says Eric Adams is at the lead with 23%. But that's not even close to win the election. You got to get 50%, including, so if Eric Adams is going to win, he's not just going to need the 23% of people's first place votes. He's going to need some second and third and fourth place votes too. So it's, for the polls, if all the poll is telling you is how many first place votes somebody has, and the leading person is 23%, well, they might not be leading in preference because maybe this person, Eric Adams, doesn't have as many second place votes as, some of the candidates just below him. Miss Sal says, and every vote cast really counts. Well, what happens is, if you vote for somebody who only gets 5%, they might end up using, through process of elimination of candidates, your second or third place vote might end up helping the winner. Yes, Chris, you rank. So what people in New York will do is they'll fill out a ballot, and they have the option of filling up to 5 names ranked 1 through 5 in their ballot. So you give your preference from 1 through 5. Barb says, interesting system, I kind of like it. It's called ranked choice voting. Canadian Sun said, I don't think you have to vote for multiple candidates. I think you have the option to, but you can't vote for more than 5. Anyways, it's interesting that that's how they're doing it, I think. We have a viewer on Twitter named Anti-Twitter. That's interesting. Who says, any shorter edited clips? No, I can't show videos on the air that don't belong to me from copyright reasons. So I can't do that. So that's just something to have in mind. I think it'll be interesting and probably be confusing when people aren't expecting it. Andrew Zachary says, in Australia, we have this system for voting. Zipper says, we were going to try that system here in BC, Canada, but people voted against it. Regarding the soccer injury we saw earlier, the soccer player that collapsed, our viewer Jamie Hibbert said, the amount of games that players are made to play these days is too much and puts immense strain on their bodies. No, you can't give all your votes to one candidate. You can only write a name down once on your ballot. Underdog Rising says it's popular in some European countries, gaining ground in the U.S. Oh, look at this. Consultant said he did FaceTime. Look, Fabrizio Romano, who I guess knows what he has 3.1 million followers. Who is Fabrizio Romano? Is he a reporter? Is he a player? Fabrizio Romano. He is an Italian journalist, Italian soccer journalist. Okay, he says Christian Eriksen had a FaceTime call with his teammates from the hospital and asked them to play the game tonight as he feels better now, said Sports Studio. I hadn't seen that yet. Thank you, consultant, for sending that to me. So I guess he had a FaceTime call with his teammates. I had not seen this. Oh, Michelle says, I'm consultant. That's Michelle in our chat. Thank you, Michelle. Jeff Haas says they use that system in Maine. SME is here as well. That's good news. I had not heard that. Casimera says, according to independent British newspaper, a cardiac consultant suggested the very unusual emergency of the soccer player could have been caused by congenital condition or viral infection. I don't know. I don't know if I can look at this article if it's paywalled. Consultant heart doctor says very, very uncommon medical emergency could have been triggered by congenital condition or viral infection. It's paywall article. Excuse me. Oh, no, I can read it. It gives me the option of reading it. Dr. Richard Till, a consultant cardiac electrophysiologist, said what happened to Christian Eriksen was rare, and it's likely was the fast CPR he received on the pitch that helped to save his life. He said a sudden cardiac arrest was not the same as a heart attack triggered by underlying coronary heart disease. What is more likely is he has a congenital condition that has not been picked up until now. Interesting. He said other causes of a sudden cardiac arrest could include a condition known as a hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which can cause the heart muscle to thicken and make it harder to pump blood. It's also possible Eriksen had a viral infection that led to myocarditis and inflammation of the heart muscle. There are other possible causes of cardiac arrest too, which can be linked to electrical faults and the signals that trigger the different sections of the heart to pump blood. He says this is very, very uncommon for someone in the professional field. It's likely his youth and fitness helped his brain to survive until they had started CPR. Thank you for the link. I wish him the best. Okay. One last thing I want to mention, which I don't know if you saw. I tweeted about it. But last night there was a guy who reportedly tried to open the door. Somebody I've heard reports that he tried to open the door to a plane. A plane was flying to LA to Atlanta, a Delta plane, and it had to divert because a passenger was going kind of crazy. And it turns out that passenger was an off-duty Delta employee. So look, Delta flight from LAX to Atlanta diverted after off-duty employee allegedly makes terroristic threats. This is ABC 7, an unruly passenger is in custody after another violent disruption aboard a Delta flight, this time involving an off-duty Delta airline employee who made threats and attacked 2 flight attendants. The airline said other passengers intervened to help detail the unruly passenger. The plane was headed to Atlanta from LA around 5:45 when the suspect, 34-year-old Stefan Jamar Duncan, an off-duty Delta employee, made terroristic threats to take down the plane. Authorities said he also attacked 2 flight attendants before another passenger, an off-duty pilot, and the flight crew and passengers were able to subdue him. Now, a passenger on board who I saw posting on Twitter, she said that she had heard he was trying to open the door to the plane, but I'm not sure that that's true. Duncan, who officials said was exhibiting signs of mental health issues, was taken to a hospital after complaining of chest pain. He's expected to be charged with two accounts of assault and battery. This is the 3rd such incident on a Delta flight out of LAX in the past 2 weeks. Last week, a flight from LA to Detroit had to be diverted when a passenger became a threat. Earlier in the week, a passenger on a Delta flight out of LA was arrested when he allegedly attempted to break into the plane's cockpit mid-flight. Anyways, but it was an off-duty employee. Chris says if he was an employee, he should have known he couldn't open the plane door. What Chris is referring to is it's basically impossible for a human to open a airline door in flight, because of the different air pressure. The basic idea is to open an airplane door, the door has to go inward first. And the pressure in the plane is so much higher than the pressure outside the plane. You would have to pull so strongly inward on the door. You'd have to be like a superhuman. Like no human can pull that strongly on a door inward so that the airplane door would overcome the higher pressure in the plane, which is pushing out on the door. That's the basic idea. John Scott Railton posted this: airplane doors cannot be opened in flight because the cabin is under pressure, plugging the doors shut from the inside. It's just humans don't have the strength needed to pull a door and overcome that pressure difference. That's the basic idea. On the typical jet plane, on typical airliner. Anyways, I just wanted to add that in case you hadn't seen it. There's a video of the incident. I posted it on Twitter. You can go to my Twitter and watch it. Go back like 12 hours or so. As to whether there are more of these incidents happening now than in previous years, I'm not sure. Seems like a lot lately, but I don't know the statistics. CDN said he had a psychological breakdown. On the sidewalk guy says mental health issue. Yes, Way Red, we covered the shootings from last night earlier in the stream. Jugo World likes the ranked choice voting. Sama says depends on elevation. Yeah, with the planes, right? So if it's on the pressure difference is going to be when the plane is high up. When a plane is high up, you have the pressurized cabin, high pressure compared to the low pressure outside. If it's on the ground, the pressure is going to not be so low on the outside. So yes, as Sama says, I think what I was saying is a plane flying at typical airplane flight, there's going to be too big airplane altitude, there's going to be too big a difference between outside and inside to open the plane door for somebody inside the plane. But a fair clarification by Sama. Sean thinks, I just think there are more people and information flows faster now. Maybe there's, maybe because people have phones, we see videos of these things where we wouldn't have seen the videos before. It's a fair point. I just don't know how the incidence prevalence now compares to before. Chris Lund says, I hope he gets the help he needs. Okay, what I think I'm going to do now is, assuming there's no big news tonight, I think we're going to do a stream on my personal channel, which is called Lookner. So I think I'm going to wrap up. I covered the stories I wanted to on this wrap up. So I think I'm going to wrap up this stream. And then if there's no big news, maybe like at 8:30 or so, about an hour and a half or hour 45 minutes, we'll do a stream on Lookner, 8:30, 9 o'clock, hour and a half, 2 hours. We'll do a stream on my personal channel, which is Lookner. That's on YouTube. So if you want to see that, so you got to go to Lookner on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the notifications bell, choose all notifications. But I appreciate you guys watching the news roundup. And when there's big news that popped up, we will cover it on Agenda Free TV. Sorry, I need a little lip balm. But thank you for joining the stream. And I'll also post news on my Twitter account when it happens, at Lookner on Twitter. You can follow me there for breaking news updates, at Lookner on Twitter. Hey, big thanks to our moderators. Really appreciate the moderators. They're awesome. They're always in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, moderators. Linda Belk. Thank you, Linda. They're the ones who keep the chat respectful and readable. And they're all volunteers, so give it up for them. Linda Belk, Short Stack, Sarah 55, Melissa McQueen. Mark Helton, Danny James. Duxor, Papa Bear, Sully. Thank you. And if anybody ever wants to be a volunteer moderator, that would be awesome. Just reach out to the mods and let them know, and they can tell you where to write to get more information. And on Facebook, there's an email you write to if you're interested. I'll post that now. And don't forget about the Discord chat, guys. Oh, before I talk about that, let me just quickly say thanks to everybody who donated as well. That's really kind of you. Very much appreciate the donations. So thank you for your support. Much appreciated. And again, you can donate by going to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. But thank you. And that includes the Facebook stars. I think I thanked everybody who gave those earlier. Let me just make sure, though. I didn't miss any. Yes, it was Timothy O'Connell. I thanked Timothy earlier. Yes, the Discord is where you can chat with other viewers when we're not on the air. Also, if you sign up for the Discord, it's free. You get great notifications to make sure you don't miss any of my streams. So check out the Discord. The moderators can post that link in the chat rooms. Thank you, mods. All right, I want to say thanks to our viewers. Thank you to people like Anti-Twitter, watching on Twitter, though. And Naughty Boy on Twitter. Debbie Smurthwaite. Oops. Debbie Smurthwaite. Duster Singer. Sama, Jamie Hibbert, Karen Mitchell, Ruth Poole, Nicolette Geese, Shannon O'Hara Spears. They were all watching on Facebook. And our other Facebook viewers, our Twitch viewers, Shaggy Cryptician, me Betty Boop, On the Sidewalk Guy, RZ49, Jugo Worrid or World, Wayred, CDN, Necrosynthetic. They're all watching on Twitch. Richard Train, Turebas, and all of our Twitch viewers, and also our YouTube viewers, Anna Arrow, Ace Arena, Zipper, Tony Nagy, The Princess, Mike Armstrong, Lynn Downey, Smee, GG, Laverne Thompson, Sean Biard, Rhonda Reynolds, Binary Solo, William Stade, Barb Filer, Sean TV, RT Firefly, Michelle, Linda Nielsen, Sam Patton, Baby Shark, Underdog Rising, Miss Sal, Julie A., Andy Marcus Bell, I think I said Marcus Bell, Ann Salty, did I say GG? Brendan Brumond, Christy Warshower, Carlos Rosa Realtor, Kisei, and all of our other viewers. Queen of the South, thank you for watching. Not Cupcakes. All right, guys. So I am wrapping this up. Again, I will, if there's no big news, I'm planning on doing a stream on my personal channel, Lookner, tonight. Betty Nelson, thanks for watching too. And if you were watching this on YouTube, you were all watching on Agenda Free TV too, but my main news channel is Agenda Free TV. So you might want to subscribe to that as well. Oh, Denise Horton, thanks for watching too, and Merkrow. And thanks again to our moderators. All right, guys, I am wrapping up this live stream. I'll probably be seeing you tonight on the other channel, but you never know, maybe there'll be big news and I'll see you on Agenda Free TV. That is it for now. Thank you for watching this news roundup, and we'll see you soon with more live coverage right here on Agenda Free TV and Agenda Free TV 2.